didn't get lost, I didn't get hurt, I didn't die. What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker, Bushcraft. So I know I should have all my safety gear on so I don't get seriously injured, but I really wasn't out. I was just going on some trails here on the school property to help with today's video because I was out biking this weekend and it got me thinking about a certain topic. While I was out on the trail, zooming along on my e-bike, I came across somebody with a flat tire on another e-bike, and lucky for them, I had my backpack on, and of course I'm a gear guy, so I had a full backpack of gear and I had a way to help them fix their tire, and then they were on their way. And that again this is what stemmed this whole video of being prepared. So when I talk about being prepared, it really comes down to this little muffin top cup. If you have this with you, you will be good to go. And it's the survival instructor, bushcraft instructor coming out in me, because this is the season. Well, I say this every season that this is the season, but it is super nice out. So while I was out and about biking, like I said, I came across somebody. We also operate a store at the local state park, like a camp store. The park was packed. There's people camping, people hiking. People love the outside when it gets nice, which I don't blame them. I love the outside year round, but people really like it when it's nice outside. But the biggest thing is you still got to be prepared. So we're going to break this down, and then I'm also going to show you some alternatives and some other stuff that you can throw in a pack. So listen, anytime that you spend time outside, you're going to go out beyond just a close vicinity of your vehicle, I highly recommend that you have a few little items with you just to keep yourself safe if something would happen. Now that something doesn't need to be lost. It doesn't mean that you were in a helicopter and it crashed in a remote country and you have to hike yourself out and your partner has no shoes on. It doesn't have to be like that, okay? All that I'm saying is you might leave your vehicle to go on a hike, all right? Maybe you twist your ankle, maybe you're riding your bike and your bike breaks down and you're 6 miles from anywhere and you can't get back, or you're not going to get back for the day. So do you have the equipment to keep yourself safe and alive? You should, because it's easy to carry. So listen, the survival priorities, which I know again we talked about a bazillion times: fire, water, shelter, food. If you can cover those 4 priorities, you are going to be okay. But in a short-term scenario, guess what? We can drop one of those out, and that's food. You can go a very long time without eating food. So if it is a short incident, something that you twist your ankle on a local trail and you're a mile and a half out and it's going to start raining, you know, you could sustain that for a day or two without eating. It might not be the most comfortable thing, but you can do that. But the other elements, water, shelter, and fire, might be much more of a necessity. So those necessities can literally fit in a cup. Again, I'll show you some alternatives in a little bit. So let's talk about it. Okay, you find a water source. This can be a dirty puddle. It can be a small little creek bed that you're next to. Maybe you're even by a bigger lake or a pond. Utilizing this cup to simply just dip water out and drink water can be tremendous help, okay, when you're out there, especially in the summer. If you're already dehydrated and you feel like you're going to pass out, you might have to drink the water. Now, I know before anybody says, well, I'm just not going to drink random water. Okay, well, we also have fire in here. So what I have packed in this emergency type kit is just a simple lighter. You can put any kind of fire starter you would like in here, but I don't think there's too much glory in struggling and maybe not getting something. If you have open flame like this right away, why not just have this along? Again, multiple fire starters, great, but if for the common folk, a lighter is going to do wonders. So now I can gather water and I can make a fire. I could stay warm with the fire, and if I need to, I can boil that water so I disinfect it so it's safe to drink. All right, and then last but not least, your shelter. So you should be dressed appropriately, but again, summertime, it's nice, it's warm out. You're probably not going to wear extra clothing, and if you're biking or something like that and you have just a very little bag, maybe you can't fit a lot of extra stuff in. So having some type of shelter. Now, you don't have to use something like our T60 shelter, but this is nice and packable. It has all the tie outs and everything included, but there's a ton of different options out there. So having something to block the weather and the wind from you is gonna also help tremendously. So we stay hydrated, we get a fire going to disinfect our water and also keep us warm, and then we use a shelter with the fire out front to keep us warm also and protect us from the elements. So that alone down is going to keep you alive. That is going to keep you alive for a few days. Now, it's not going to keep you comfortable, but it's going to keep you alive. Now, let's just quickly look over some alternatives to all this stuff. So let's first talk about the cup. The reason I use the cup is because this just fits real nice in there, but most people are going to take some type of plastic water bottle with them. So what I recommend is swap out your plastic water bottle for some type of metal bottle. Just pour that plastic one in here, and then you have a vessel that you can do the same thing with, right? We could stick this in a campfire, disinfect our water if need be, and then we can also, that's loud, close the bottle down and transport it around with us. Now, as far as fire goes, lighter, always a great bet, but if you know how to use a good ferrocerium rod and you have that skill set, by all means carry one of these things. They are like the survivalist go-to fire starter. But then there's also lots of other good stuff on the market, like these stormproof sweet fires, there's lifeboat matches, there's wet fires, all different kinds of good stuff. So you could throw all this together, but if you're trying to go more minimal, a lighter should get the job done. And then lastly is shelter. So you do want some type of sheltering system to protect you from the elements, but if you're gonna forego this for some reason, make sure that you pack at least an extra layer. This is just a down jacket that folds down and crunches down quite small, not real small, but enough, and it would keep me very warm at night if I have nothing else. It's also water resistant on the outside, so if it's just a light mist or a light rain, at least it's gonna protect me a little bit. And if you're gonna go super overboard, carrying some type of blanket can also be a good idea, because once you set up your shelter and you pull this blanket out, at least you're going to get a good night's sleep until the morning when you have time and more energy to get back to your location that you started from. And then if you're like me, you do need snacks. This is the food element of the 4 survival priorities. So carrying something a little bit extra, although it is not that much, okay, and it's not a huge meal, this will just boost your morale and make you feel a little bit better with the extra calories in your system. So I always try to throw a little extra food in. Ever since I starved on Alone, I was like, I'm done with the starving to death. So I always make sure I have some little bit extra, but again, you want to go minimal, you can forego this at least for that couple day type scenario. So honestly, that is what you need in order to keep yourself safe, and if you carry some of the extra things, comfortable. But is there anything else? So yes, we can just go on and on and on and on, and I mean, you can have a full loadout backpack, but for most people that becomes an annoyance and it becomes a little over the top for stuff. So you know, that is going to get the job done. But if I had to pick some other gear, just because we all love gear so much, this is what I would also be carrying, which normally if I carry this Go Ruck bag, all right, which this is usually what I use for biking and hiking and stuff like that. This is the other stuff that I have in here. So I always throw a headlamp in. I think it's very valuable at night to be able to see around and at least move locally around camp. So having a flashlight, specifically a headlamp, keeps your hands open, is a good idea. The good old cell phone. Most people, when they go out, they think that they're going to escape reality and head into nature. But here's the thing, leaving this behind is a bad idea. You by all means turn it off, but have it with you. This is how we call for emergency, text for emergency. You can also pull maps up on this, Google Earth, all that good stuff. Again, of course, you need signal, but if anything else, at least you can text. You send that text, try to get to a high point, and maybe the text will shoot out and you'll be able to send a pin or something like that. So lots of good stuff with your cell phone, and important to have. And what I've really became a huge fan of after teaching a lot of survival classes is having some of this flagging tape. Now this, I have the whole roll in here. You don't have to take the whole roll, maybe take about 100 foot of this off. It packs down into just about nothing. You can stick it inside your T60. This is great for marking trees, and if you've ever seen our video on the Ray method for self-navigation, this comes in super handy. It allows you to navigate out of your spot. So having marking tape like this, you buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, this stuff's great. So before I wrap it up, let me show you my new e-bike, because this is what happens with me and e-bikes. I get e-bikes and I lend them to friends, and then my friends love them so much, and I'm just like, just use the e-bike. And then I'm like, I'm gonna get another e-bike. So this e-bike is a Crusher e-bike. It's called the Ranger. It is way more sporty. You could see rear suspension, front suspension. It is a rear drive bike. It has a throttle on the handle, so if you just wanna just go, wham, you hit it, no pedaling involved. It's like an electric motorcycle. And then you can pedal just without anything or hit pedal assist. So you hit the buttons up or down, and that is how much it's gonna help help you. So here's what's so much fun about this. I used to mountain bike for years with my one friend John, and going uphill was like, especially here, it's just like you feel like you're constantly just in this fitness realm of working out. So with the e-bike, you hit the gas, not gas, hit the electric. You're gonna hit the electric, shoot up the hill, and then you can enjoy the same downhill and flat trails as you always did. So I wanted something a little bit extra sporty just for me to go out and enjoy myself with, which I did this weekend. Hit some old mountain bike trails I haven't been on in a long time, and it was super fun. And then what's also super fun is subscribing to Coalcracker. So if you click down below the like and subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. I also want you to make sure you're carrying that gear. That's the whole point. Don't worry about the e-bike. Worry about carrying your gear. All right, that's what's so important. So definitely do that. And until next video, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com and stay in the woods.